And Tyson goes, he is mechanically the best player that I've ever played against.
This guy has been ranked 1 leaderboard every act in Asia. Every pro is scared of him. If what everyone says about Primmie is true, we now have one of the biggest X factors in all of Valorant.
Primmie is the newest in a long line of Valorant's greatest rookie stories. From ranked rumor to international star in record time, he was thrust into the most important first match for a player in international Valorant history. What makes Primmie such a good player? Why did he end up where he did? And after all eyes were on him, how did he do? Papafats Raprafa was born to a modest Thai family, but pretty quickly into his life he had an affinity for FPS games. On his YouTube channel you can see his adolescent self playing heaps of PvP and infestation survival stories, also known as War Z, a game that was having a heyday in Thailand at the time. And this kid was pretty amazing at it too, hitting some sick clips. But once Valorant rolled around, Primmie began his climb up the ranked ladder, and it didn't take very long before he started garnering attention. You have to remember, Primmie was spending most of Valorant's lifespan in school, and his parents, like many players' families, wanted him to focus on his studies when it was in session. But despite that, in the acts where he had time, Primmie was eating ranked lobbies alive, and in the first act of episode 3, he hit the Asia leaderboards, number 275, and the next, 12th. Safe to say, teams were already starting to pay attention. But with school still calling, and his parents still cautious about the world of professional gaming, Primmie would have to keep waiting and grinding. Luckily, he wouldn't have to wait long. 2022 starts up with a new episode, and a new Primmie hitting a personal best at number 2 on the leaderboard. And in the meanwhile, he was finally starting to pick up some team experience. Despite Primmie's parents being respectfully skeptical of the international scene, they had a lot less trouble with their son playing for country. And so we got to see Primmie play in Thailand Challengers twice in 2022, subbing in on FW Esports, which was being helmed by Primmie, one of Thailand's most notorious Valorant veterans, and some guy named Jitboy. That might be important later. So how did Primmie do? Well, his first game was actually FW's only win of the split, though it was against their group's weakest opponent. But really that made it the perfect stage to show how mechanically gifted Primmie was. Replacing Killua, who at the time was also playing Jet for the team, he slotted in as an aim god with insane reaction time. His aggressive frontlining for FW's attack on Breeze netted him 18 kills, and a couple great clips, which, if we've paid our editor enough, should be playing right now. Though it should be said Breeze was FW's best map at the time, and Primmie didn't end up doing much in what part of the second half was played. It was clear that engaging was just about the extent of what Primmie was used to, and his team experience's non-existence was proving to slow him down on defense. But when he could engage, he executed, and that was especially on low buys and ecos like the opening rounds. Primmie got 6 kills in the first 3 rounds of map 2, and ended up going even in the half. He once again wouldn't be able to match the coordination when side swapped and underperformed, but again, to be expected of someone who literally had never played at this level before. FWE ended up winning the map 13-11, and with it, the match. His second stint was a bit of a gimme, playing against a floundering Purple Mood that got 6 rounds in the match total and had to change players between maps. But that just meant Primmie got to feast and show off how quickly he can deal with people who can't match his level. He ended the series 33-23. So ultimately, his first time touching the Challengers environment, Primmie showed promise but volatility, and clearly was a proficient fighter against the best players, even when it wasn't for RR. Regardless, Primmie still had school, so it was back to the books and ranked lobbies for him, which he started clearing. For an entire year, Primmie climbed over and over again and got better and better and better. So I think now is probably a good time to answer the question, what exactly makes Primmie so good? Well, the short answer is his aim. He undeniably has some of the best aim ever, but aim alone doesn't get you there. You need to have a meaty recipe to back you up, like insane reaction time, which Primmie has. On top of that, if you're going to be a W key demon, your movement has got to be untouchable, which it is. Dopai came out with a great video explaining why. But ultimately, Primmie just knew how to fight. Like, he knew exactly where to hold on angles, he knew exactly when to press util on a push, he knew how to pick you apart before you even entered LOS. There's a couple of people on Reddit who were talking about how they think Primmie could be mechanically better than even Aspas.
Oh yeah, by the way, chat, Tyson, I don't know if I can say this. Yes, I can. Tyson scrimmed against Primmie, and Tyson goes, he is mechanically the best player that I've ever played against. He is fucking insane. He is the best angle holder ever. If you peek 1 by 1, he will literally just shit on you. He says that he actually clears Aspas with like mechanics. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I've literally never heard Tyson talk so high of like a player before. Tyson's always like, yeah, they're pretty good. Like, they're nothing insane. But like, he says Primmie is the GOAT.
Oh, excuse me, let me recheck my sources real quick. That was actually Kaide talking about how Tens was saying that Primmie might be mechanically better than Osbas. And you call me the Glazer? Primmie used all of this knowledge and so much more to maintain a powerful position in the leaderboard throughout episode 5. In the very first act of episode 6, he finally hit number 1. And by the end of 2023, at the end of episode 7, he did it again. With no better a time, Primmie gave the professional stage a shot once more, this time on X-God number 1, a team attempting to qualify for Thailand Challengers. So how did he do? Well, while Primmie was playing Sentinel, he still played pretty well, and it's easy to say he was one of the 10 best players in the OQ. But so were at least 3 of Primmie's teammates. This was by all accounts a very strong team that Primmie was not outwardly carrying, and yet he still went positive and played great. X-God number 1 had minimal issues getting to the finals and placing at the very top of the open qualifier, which would give them a chance to play against the Infinity Esport for a spot in Challengers Thailand. If not for what would happen next. It was found that Primmie, that OG who played alongside Primmie on FW, was using team member Hestia's account during the tournament. Both players received a month-and-a-half bans from competing, and X-God number 1 was disqualified. A really unfortunate fate for a team that was looking to not only bring up Primmie, but bring Garnet back into the spotlight, a VCT player last year who was the star duelist for... Okay. But that didn't stop Primmie. Not even close. He went right back to the ranked lobbies. Boom, number 1 a second act in a row. And it's that long he has to wait for another shot at Thai stardom. In 2024, Premier finally had real consequence, being the open qualifier for the promotion tournament for Valorant's Challengers Leagues. And with the help of a rookie, an ex-teammate from X-God number 1, an experienced Challengers player, and the ex-teammate from X-God number 1 whose account was being shared, they formed Golem 666 and trashed Premier ladders, only having 1 loss in their season. So, to try to qualify for Challengers Thailand again, how did Primmie do? Well, although he started by playing Omen, something snapped in this team during the end of the tournament, and they just let him play Duelist. Sometimes they were running 4 Duelists into a map, and they should thank their lucky stars, because Primmie went bananas. Try a 44% headshot rate in 88 rounds of Valorant. That's ridiculous. This kid was averaging nearly 200 damage a round. He was still, after another split of these challenger teams developing, demolishing opponents. But sadly, Golem 666 could not get over the line against Challengers alumni Bar Nonshock and the Infinity, and would have to settle for top 4 in the open qualifier. So close, but yet again so far, Primmie did all he could do. Wait for a lifeline. And get number 1 again. Hey, wait, he was at the top the entire episode? That's 4 acts in a row now. Yeah, it's time to address the Scooby-Dooby-Doo in the room. This guy can't be ignored by the professional scene any longer. The impact Primmie has had in Asia servers in the past year is palpable, and at some point, I think something just clicked for him, because this kid does whatever the hell he wants in these games. I gotta say, I'm a little jealous for people who didn't know about Primmie before, because if you didn't, and you didn't know he was unsigned, and then you went to check his tracker page, oh my god, the feeling of your jaw just like slamming on the ground has gotta be like unmatchable. This kid is clearing 40% headshots daily, casually. His KD for episode 8 act 3 was 1.55, and that's a peak after clearing 1.4 in his previous 3 number 1 acts. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert, quick snap back to reality real quick, he placed number 1 this act too. Yeah, even though he went to champions, he came back and broke the record for consecutive acts at number 1 on the leaderboard. Yeah, that's right. He's the first person to ever get 5 in a row. Anyway, rewind. Pretend we're still in June. The hype train for Primmie, who remember, does not have any confirmed offers at this point, is chugging along like crazy, with Asia servers lasered in on this absolute god of the game. But the question remains, which team could pick him up? Oh man, finally, we get to the fun part of the video. The part that's well documented. So yeah, that Thai org, who has a bunch of players that this Thai kid has also already played with, Talon Esports was always going to be the favorite to sweep up this wonderkind. So how is Talon Esports doing at this point in time? How do I put this? Pretty good. In stage 1, they ended up dropping just 1 game to Gen G, but apart from that, they did so dang well they made playoffs, losing in single elim immediately to Paper Rex. Still, a top 6 finish with a head start on the next split. Talon had a solid chance of a ticket to champions with that ranking. But It was starting to become clear, especially between splits, that Talon were hitting a skill ceiling of sorts. Now, that's not to say the players weren't improving. They were, but the team as a whole had some pretty gaping weaknesses that still made them underdogs to make it to champions. To start, Talon is the Thailand team, but it's not all Thai players. They full sent on 2 Korean double citizenship kids, bringing in Governor and Ban this year. And combining that with long-standing legendary Thai veterans Jit Boys, hey there he is, and Surf made communication a bit of a problem for Talon. Don't get me wrong, everyone could comm effectively. There wasn't like a language barrier. I mean, not one that could impede their play. It was something you could see in their gameplay, with crucial mistakes being made a little too often, a little too much isolation and tunnel vision. Like, Talon were throwing away rounds. But more concerningly, you could hear it. Talon's head coach Frost, who is a certified yapper, by the way, so if anyone can weigh on, and this is him, has spoken at length about the silence that could overtake Talon's comms, or worse, the dissonance. The lifeline of Talon, its core, the thing that was supposed to meld these two worlds, the Americans and the Thai boys, was IGL Cruz. Undeniably, the best of the team in the lobby would have to become the vibes merchant as well. And to Cruz's credit, he took that title and ran as hard as he could with it in Split 1. But still, even without communication as a factor, when Talon were challenged by those high-level teams, they fell. And the teams that Talon beat to even get them that far, like T1, RRQ, and most notably and closely Team Secret, were right on their tails, developing and, for the most part, getting far better. Talon's majority made the call. They wanted Primmie, and they were going to get him. And Cruz was going to be the reason it happened. You see, apart from the many bonds Primmie had already established with the Thai community, Talon was trialing Primmie, and Cruz was excited. Really excited. And I'll go ahead and predict that Cruz thinks the trip was entirely worth it, because here's a clip that just shows Primmie wiping the floor with soon-to-be teammate Governor.
No, swap him in.
So you guys actually trialed Primmie, right? Like early on.
Yeah.
So you guys could have had him the whole season. Like, whose fault is that, bro?
Yeah, that's fine. You guys can say it.
I can say it?
Yeah.
Are you telling him the reason why?
The reason why he didn't...
Yeah, I think now no one cares, right? Because it's like in jest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
He wants to say it.
I mean, we can cut it if you
Okay.
change your mind. So
He,
might as well just say it.
So in trials, so I didn't know who he was. He didn't know who he was. He didn't know who he was. Boy didn't know who he was. I think the only people who knew who he was Cruz and Jit. None of us knew who he was. Yep. But all I know is this guy in scrims, we're scoring PRX. He's on Cypher, right? On Sunset. This guy's like passed all of his util, like in a rank game. 2 trips. All right, go fuck off. And then he just plays in front of it. Bop, 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 bop. He's like running up mid. We're like, pretty chill. He kills one, chill. Okay, now fall. Boop, boop. Ace. I'm like, what's going on? What the fuck what am I playing right now? What is this shit? The fuck? And then but yeah, no, like every scrim he just popped off. But like doesn't say a word. He does 40, he does 80 damage to someone, -80. He types it out like he's in a rank game. I'm like, what the fuck is this? But so obviously like, okay, now he doesn't do that. But like in the trials, you know, he was a full ranked player.
So, in the very middle of Split 2, between games, Cruz flies to Thailand to appeal to Primmie's parents to let him join Talon Esports.
2 days before the Zeta game, I flew back to Thailand myself to sign Primmie.
Oh yeah, are we allowed to say the story?
Yeah.
Tell the story, because he told me, and yeah. So you should tell the story about how it all went down.
Yeah. So during, I think it was RQ or DFM, he hit me up basically. Yo, I want to play, and I'm like, damn, bro, okay. And then I'm like, yeah, let's go. He took 4 days to answer.
Oh shit. Bro.
And then when he answered, I'm like, yo, do you need me to go to Thailand to help me convince your parents, or what do you need me to do? He's like, come to Thailand. So I'm like, okay, but I have a DRX game. After I'm done with this DRX game, between the week, it's the DRX is on the 1st, I think. So I have the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th before our game on the 6th or 5th, whatever. I flew back to Thailand. I brought him in the team. I said, yo, come. There's a lot of shit for him to do before getting into the team. So we couldn't have him come to Korea. Mm-hmm. He came in. We had 3 days to prep. So I was like, Hector, I think we need to take a gamble. Basically, we can't get all maps, right? We can't make all 7 maps in the pool good in 3 days. There's no way.
And we can't change comps.
Yeah.
Like, we can't use our normal structured
Like we can't even get
patterns.
7 maps good
So
in
it has to
9
be all
months.
It has to be
default
default.
comps.
It has to be default.
All
Yeah.
default comps, which we don't really play.
Yeah, and like we can't even get 7 maps good in 9 months. How can we do it in 3 days? So I'm like, we need to take a gamble. I think we've never played Abyss. They have never played Abyss. It's more likely that they won't pick it. So let's just
Pull
take
over.
a gamble and not play it, and just pick 3 maps that we think they're gonna pick. That if they pick it, Primmie's gonna play. And then we picked 3 maps. He played on 3 maps. We scrimmed on those 3, and Abyss, we were like, we're just gonna put in Primmie.
They're not gonna fucking play Abyss, is
Yeah.
what we said. They're not, fuck that.
Yeah.
They just came out
Yeah.
not playing Abyss.
Yeah, and then
They fucking pick it.
And then,
we pick Abyss.
no, these guys come back. Okay, so we're in the waiting room. They're doing vetoes. We're all sitting there. Cruz walks in. Fuck. It's like, shit.
With school on the out and the opportunity to play for Thailand in sight, they let Primmie play 2 weeks before playoffs. That is how long Talon had to prepare a new player to try to qualify them for champions. And they had a lot of work to do. Look, this was a very different team structure than what Primmie was used to. In ranked, when you are as good as Primmie, you literally do not think. You just kill. And that gets value in a solo queue setting because you're positively trading, and that's literally always enough in ranked. But in a team structure, especially in VCT, super carries can't do everything, and teams will know how to shift weight and responsibility to be able to play from disadvantage far more effectively. You'll see these errors happen when Primmie plays. Rest assured, you can't just change all of that in a player in less than a month. But the call had been made. Talon didn't want to be a top 6 team. They wanted to be champions bound. And they wanted to do it this year. Well, it was going to be a tough battle because, and this is a well-kept secret in the Valorant community, but if you're undergoing a transitional phase during a split of international play, you're going to suffer a little bit. And Talon suffered hard, losing 3 of the 5 games that split, including their last 2. And meanwhile, all those other middle-of-the-pack teams who had the luxury of making changes in the season's break, like Secret and RRQ, they had a field day, especially Team Secret, who beat everyone in the group, including Gen G, to get the 3rd seed in the playoffs. The outlier was T1, who had a mediocre split that kept them below Talon's rank, giving them a 6th place seed in playoffs, and Primmie a chance to show what he can do. So here we are, at that moment that everyone was waiting for. Easily the most important first pro match of any Valorant player's life, with 2 weeks of preparation, a team full of people who also haven't gone to champions. How did they do? Well, Primmie started the very first round of his international career by doing this on defense.
Trying to work alongside Jit Boys, his old teammates, just to clear out some of the corners. Then the first headshot going through now. A second as he flicks on towards Jeremy's head. He blocks out Tree, holds down the angle, still has the smoke blocked off. And then a second smoke just to back him up. The triple kill going through. Envy with the shockdown though, took down Jit Boys, and now comes out to the peaks. Primmie just manages to make it work. Nail on the head to Envy.
Yeah. I mean, that might be the best debut round for any player ever, considering the magnitude of this match. But it also immediately shows how impeccable his execution is, not just in killing, but in movement. Look at how he fights Envy at the very end here, who, by the way, is about to go 1-10 against Primmie this map. He waits out the shots, knowing Envy will start jiggle peeking, challenges it, holds his ground, and then hits such an insane step back, lined up right as Envy puts his head into sights. Just such a great display of this guy's raw game IQ. Not much to write home about for the next few rounds. Primmie was a little detached from the team in some crucial moments, but that's to be expected, obviously. Most of what won Talon these early rounds on defense was just Cruz's calling. Their macro was nuts. They intercepted Secret every single site they went to. And it should be said, Talon almost never got value out of initiating, out of striking first. And Primmie playing Clove as a secondary controller got to hold on to that playstyle skill floor, smoking the entry of whatever Secret will call to be pushing, or whatever opening they were going to look from on retake. And so Primmie playing Clove on a secondary controller got to hold on to that playstyle's skill floor, smoking the entry of whatever Secret were called to be pushing, or whatever opening they were going to look from on retake. Round 7 was his next highlight for his mechanics, turning a 3v3 into a 3v1 despite the enemy knowing his position. That would be kills 10 and 11 for Primmie this map. Unfortunately, he's caught on a lurk in round 8 and has to save in round 9, but in round 10, he plays incredibly patiently with the team, and he gets rewarded with not only a key role in timing Secret out, but an assist with Metal, which, like, no one ever gets in VCT, so that was cool. Round 11, Envy would kill Primmie the only time that whole map with another lurk he was caught in the middle of, but he plays into that character in round 12, making a lot of noise baiting Jesse Vash right into Jitboy's arms, and finishes the half with a double kill. So to recap, Primmie's first half in Valorant had him play as a gradually more disciplined boomerang that kicked it all off with a 4K that single-handedly won Talon the most important round of the half. Let's see how his second half ever starts.
Both traps him right around Mound, and 2GE's gonna find a double to start things off. He waits patiently. Primmie tries to trade for one, but Primmie on for a second one again. There's a pick the up, not again. 3 kills in a row. He finds the lurk and he gets it. Another 4K.
So I think I can statistically say now that Primmie is not a fluke. The very short part of this video that talks about what happens after this match might convince you otherwise, but this alone to me shows what can be done with this roster in the future. He twists the knife in round 15 off a 1v1, buying time with his ultimate and forcing a save to help get Talon to a 10-5 lead. Team Secret get a very patient eco round, but Talon get an easy A exec the following round off a showstopper from Governor, and also 3 more kills from Governor. But with no Raze ult, they can't replicate such aggression, and Secret own the map again the following 2 rounds. All Primmie's been able to do a lot of this half is just play with and fight with the team, always covering a crossfire or a trade angle. He was doing his job, and in my opinion, not overstepping. But Primmie frontlines round 20 with his ult in range and gets a kill off the Nightfall exec on A, Envy. Then he gets absolutely plastered by an opping Jeremy in the 1v1, even with the ultimate. Luckily, Jeremy's the only one on Secret who can really make a dent this round, and Talon get to game point. Ultimately, Talon can only win rounds when they can aggro exec off of an ultimate, but that's enough to get them from a 10-5 lead to a 13-11 victory on their pick in the map pool. And now is the time where I must reveal that I haven't revealed everything, if you don't know. See, Talon, as much as they tried to cram into Primmie's brain when it came to VCT, there were some things that they just could not get around to if they wanted to be the best at what they were working on. And one of the easiest things you can do to slash your study guides in half is reducing your map pool. So, Talon just didn't practice Abyss, like, at all. And they didn't hardban it hoping that Secret wouldn't call it because it was so new. But Secret did call it. So what do you do when only one of your players has had any time with the new map thanks to his ridiculous ranked grind? Apparently, this.
So we went into the server. I'm the IGL, of course, but I don't know. That's my first time in the server. In that map, and
What the fuck do I call?
exactly.
That's the thing. He didn't call.
Yeah, that's the thing. Primmie was the IGL.
Primmie,
That
Primmie
game.
IGL the first match, first serial. Well, not first match technically.
his second, he's straight out of ranked. He's straight out of ranked.
He's
He's
played it the most.
IGLing. He's
Yeah.
IGLing to qualify for champs.
Fuck
Yeah,
it's
and let me
because-
tell you why it was my suggestion, because he's the only one that played it in ranked. I said, "Yo, why don't we have the kid IGL?" Cruz looks at me like the first is shock and horror. The next is like, actually,
Genius light bulb.
makes
yeah.
sense. So Primmie actually
IGL the whole series.
in the fire.
Not the whole series. The map.
Like,
That map. Yeah.
that map. Yeah.
that map.
Yeah.
But he's so confident because he shits on everyone in ranked.
Exactly.
He'll know the fights he wants, where he needs his util. Just tell him, yo, Primmie, you just tell them where you want the dart, if you want this, if you want that.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay.
Yeah.
And it just happened.
And he was like, yo, Cruz, I need you to orb control here. So I asked him, where's the orb?
Dead ass though.
In the game.
Dead ass though.
In the game.
In the game. And I was like, where's the orb, bro? I have never,
Bro.
I don't know where it goes.
I was playing Abyss last night. He's behind my shoulder. Or no, two nights ago. He's behind my shoulder. I'm like one off an eyes. I'm like, yo, where's the orb at, bro? Where can I get this shit? Where can I get this fucking orb, bro?
Exactly, man. And I was like, that was in-game qualifying for champs. And I'm like, where's the orb, bro? And then I was like, oh, please don't cut this in like a voice comms, please.
Yeah. And Peter, in 5 minutes in server, 5 minutes, he found the most broken spam place on the map.
Oh, yeah.
5 minutes.
And so, in the first appearance of the map in VCT history, in his very first match in VCT, to qualify for the most important tournament in VCT, Primmie was the closest thing to an IGL on Abyss. Which means an aggressive pistol round led by the kid himself, who manages to get a kill and some chip before going down, a crucial part in winning their 3rd consecutive pistol round in the series. The remainder of this half is played on timing, and Secret's patience nets them 4 of the next 6 rounds, tying things up at the half. but Primmie came really close to making it a 7-5 with this stupendous triple kill in round 12.
And another tag as well. Jit Boy's weak, but Primmie, he needs to hold on to this. He gets 2. Envy is down, not out just yet, but there's no saving him because Primmie is still running amok in the tower, holding things down. Teammate now with him, Governor, a bit of a body block.
Secret straight up throw round 13 though, giving Talon a head start they'd run with, and Primmie is first out the gate with a triple kill in the follow-up. And with a bonus where Talon plays out of their minds, it very quickly becomes 10-6, and that 16th is yet another triple kill for Primmie.
At this rate, they might run out of chances.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. Primmie just goes in for that fight inside of A main. Similar looks to what we've seen from before. He's confident on this anti-eco.
The Van digging deep into mid as well. Talon, quick adjustments. They recognize Secret. They want to start taking mid control. And now they're keeping it for themselves in round 16 the entire time. Primmie given the freedom to go on the hunt. He wants it. He's not going to have much health to combat it.
But Secret know how to push this map, and with the firepower they have, they're able to consistently beat down whoever's on site and overwhelm whoever's in the way. That gets them to a 10-11 game in almost no time flat. But Primmie gets far too much space up mid in round 22 and collects, netting Talon a huge early kill that they use to take on the rest of Secret one at a time to win a crucial Thrifty. 2 more rounds that Talon now has to find that last opening to net that last round and their ticket to champs. And though in their first attempt, Secret can rinse and repeat, Talon are able to overwhelm and conquer, winning Abyss 13-11 and getting their ticket to champions. To think that a plan like this actually works for a team, this close to the due date, single-handedly changes the way one should think about Valorant. It's in the same vein as seeing G2, the Ascension team, make it to champs before 100 Thieves. Talent can still be found anywhere, and you have no idea what any player in the world is capable of until they get to show you on the biggest stage imaginable. That being said, unfortunately, this plan can still, realistically, only go so far. Look, if you didn't notice as we were going over that match, I was starting to talk less and less about Primmie as we went, and that's because despite the fact that he got so many kills, that was mainly because of how good he is at fighting. Again, he picked up a lot in very little time to get Talon this far, but by the time Abyss was in its second half, Primmie was really only allowed to either be someone that got opened on or someone that got to walk into the crowd to try to kill as many people as he could. And that playbook, plus less time on the field, wears very thin with teams who are more used to high-caliber play, which is why Talon got dumpstered in the remainder of the Pacific playoffs with absolutely nothing left in the tank. And in Champs, despite them having some time to prep and some ideas, they still were not able to do much of anything against either Leviathan or Vitality. So while the story did not end with Primmie's first game, his 2024 did end pretty swiftly after, but with a very hopeful glimpse of the future, because Primmie did one thing well at Champs, and that's fight 1v1s. Of the 10 opposing players Primmie played against in Champs, here is his KD against each of them from worst to best. Are you ready? -5, -2, 0, yes, we're already even, 0, +2, +2, +4, +4, +5, +8 on comm. Dang. Despite a small sample size and a whole lot of ego peeking, Primmie technically had the 3rd best rating of anyone at Champs. Primmie was a firecracker against 2 teams who absolutely needed Talon as a wake-up call to even get any farther in the tournament. He convinced everyone there that he is next up mechanically. Everyone! This is a kid who is putting up pretty much identical numbers in ranked as he is in VCT. His headshot accuracy is legitimately mind-boggling. It was 37% at Champs, by the way. It is impossible to deny how good this guy is going to be if he's on the right track. All he needs is the offseason that most teams normally would have taken in a situation like this. But all Primmie needed was 2 weeks to get some international experience in before it's back to the ranked lobbies, which he's still number 1 in, by the way, and to prepare for an exciting 2025 for Talon Esports. I'm so glad we got to see Primmie play this year, and I'm so excited to see what he has in store for us. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. This is obviously a very different kind of video from what I imagine you're used to seeing on the Cypher channel if you've been here a while now. But if you haven't, why not subscribe? Because there's more like this on the way. I do hope that we did Primmie and Talon and the very, very passionate Thai Valorant community justice in this video. There's so much that I still didn't cover in this, and I know for a fact Talon isn't done making history. But in the meantime, if you have other topics you want us to cover here, then drop them in the comments. But again, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.